Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to the Annual General Meeting of the Cochrane Collaboration. It is fabulous to be here in person after so many years of having smaller meetings or being online. So I know that we have around 65 to 70 people joining us online, but it's lovely to see a cluster of you here in person, and we are delighted that you're here. So we have an hour and a half, and we have an opportunity now to hear about the work that we have been doing over the last year and the plans that we have for the future. Because this is a formal meeting and we are a charity established under legislation in the UK, we have some formal things that we are going to ask you to vote on. So those of you who have been to AGMs before will know that we need you to vote on our annual report, our finances, and our auditor. So we're going to be doing that. We would like you to go online so that you can do that at agm.cochrane.org to register your vote. So we're also going to have time for questions and to network with others, but we also have a pretty exciting range of prizes at the end. So we want to recognise the fabulous contribution of people in the community. I'm being told in no uncertain terms that it's my job to make sure we run to time, because we've got people online who are probably up at all kinds of hours of the day and night, who have committed to be here for an hour and a half, and we need to make sure that they're able to contribute and to vote. So I'm going to be finishing the meeting promptly at 7:15 London time, and if we don't have time to cover off all of your answers, we're going to be publishing those and giving you full answers online. So we are going to make sure that we listen to all the things that you've got to say and give you the answers that you need. For those of you on Zoom, welcome. I hope you can all see the different functions that you have to see the chat and to also get a live transcript if you find my New Zealand accent a little bit difficult to follow. So please click those functions and I'm hoping that they're working. We're going to have, as I said, electronic voting. And you need to have access to either a phone or a tablet. And we're going to be closing the votes at a point in the meeting and telling you about the resolutions and what people have voted on. So again, agm.cochrane.org and log into your account to get that information and to get voting. So we have outlined 13 things that we want to cover in our hour and a half. We want first to approve the minutes of the last meeting, to go to the co-chairs report, hear from the treasurer, to receive the trustees' annual report and financial statements, to appoint an auditor, to get a council report, to hear from Catherine Spencer and the editor-in-chief Carla Suarez-Weiser. We want to have questions from you, and we want to go through the prizes. We'll give you the results and any other business. So, the first resolution that we would like you to vote on is to agree on that agenda. So, can you please vote? The resolution is proposed by myself and Geordie Pardo. Okay, I'm going to assume you've done that. Thank you. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you the interim chair who is taking over from Tracy and myself. September is the time that Tracy and I are stepping down from our terms as co-chairs, and we are delighted that Geordie is going to be taking over from us. And Geordie, I'd like you to come and give the co-chair's report.
Well, thank you, Catherine. And if people were worried about their New Zealand accent, wait until they hear mine. Okay, so I'm here to talk about the co-chair's report. But before we start, I would like to set a bit the scene about what is going to be happening at the annual general meeting. We are planning to share with you all our plans to revolutionize the way that we produce evidence. We are going to describe how a more focused scientific strategy is going to help us achieve a lot more things than we were doing before. We are going to demonstrate how we are in a really financial solid position and how we are going to build a situation that could last for at least another 30 years. And just moving more into the job of what the co-chairs we are going to be doing as well, we are going to report about the independent governance review that we have had. And we are going to talk about our plans for new ways to connect with all of you, with the community, in order to help steer the direction that the Cochrane collaboration is going to be going. So I'm here, but I'm representing an amazing team of people all over the world. Amazing people that you have, all of them here, and really helping us to drive the organization. As we are a charity in the UK, so these are the trustees of the charity. So as Catherine mentioned on the first night, so collaboration has always been in our core. And we have decided that we need to update our branding in order to be able to say fully and convinced that we are a Cochrane collaboration. And in that sense, we are going to update our guidelines to go into that. Going into the business of the co-chair most properly, we would like to update you with the governance review that we had. Not surprisingly, one of the first conclusions they have is that we are a complex, complicated organization. I think you will agree that that's not too surprising. But the thing that it was really welcome from us is that they say that overall that we have a healthy governance and a well-functioning executive leadership team. And therefore that the layers of governance and executive management, that they were healthy. There were some things, though, that we could do better. And this is an example of one of the things that were flagged. No? So we have a risk register and we have a risk framework that we have been using in order to identify what are the issues that could happen. And all this work, it's at the same level that a lot of other organizations that work on this area. However, in seeing the big picture, in order to show from the strategic level what are these risks and what is our appetite for risk, there are some times that you say, well, we are more willing to take more risks than others. This more strategic view on the overall organization, not just the central team, is something that it was not so complete. And there is steps that the Financial Audit and Risk Committee is already taking in order to update this function. These are some of the examples of the things that we are working on. One of the other conclusions of the governance review is that we're doing a good job of connecting with the community, but we can do much better. And in this sense, on the next few months, we are going to design a new approach for connecting with our community. And we're going to build on all the excellent lessons that are coming from the Council, all the good practices, all the things that have worked, but then also look for other aspects that hasn't worked that well, and look for more spaces where we can really get a more meaningful way of engaging with people. Because the Cochrane collaboration is its community. The Cochrane success is reliant on you, the people in here, on really working and developing new ideas and new ways of working. We recognize the enormous success we have had for the last 30 years, but also we cannot miss the opportunities to have even a bigger impact. We want to welcome new people in the community and to celebrate all the achievements that all the people who have already worked in Cochrane has already done for the last 30 years. We have people all over the world, and this is just a small sample of all the diversity on the geographic groups that we have in Cochrane. Our Cochrane membership has already 117,000 people who bother to go into our website and create a Cochrane account to be connected with what is happening in Cochrane. And 11,000 that has worked and contributed so much that they arrive at the level of membership. Now just imagine, what would happen if all these people get more focus? What will happen if all this richness that we have in the organization could work together in a set of common ideas? And we are going to develop a new strategy focused on impact and relevance, on diversity, inclusivity, and equity, in advocacy and collaboration. And these themes will be developed in a lot of the reports that the our chief executive and editor-in-chief is going to be working, so I'm not going to go in more detail. But this is an opportunity for us, organization, to do more and do better. Cochrane is building on an incredible past. These last 30 years has been definitely a ride. It has been a lot of highs and lows, but more highs than lows. But Cochrane collaboration is leading to a new direction. We're developing new structures. We're developing thematic groups, evidence synthesis unit, and we have a central editorial service. All that is to serve our commitment to equity and diversity, to produce trustworthy, quality evidence in a timely manner. And that way we can focus on the world's most pressing health and care challenges, that including supporting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We were at the Cochrane at the World Health Assembly, and we were hearing from a lot of people from different countries, from the WHO, from the different departments, that Cochrane is important, that really is useful to have an organization who can provide independent, reliable evidence to inform decisions. And we are building from a situation that we have a really healthy financial situation, and Karen is going to talk more about all that. But we're also moving to a future with open access, where we are validating a model that could permit to keep this safety financial net at the same time that develop a product that could be more open for everybody. And more importantly, we are working with you, with all of you, to produce an exciting new strategy that could increase equity and the global impact for the most needed evidence. We have a phenomenal team, and I cannot leave this space without giving a really and thoughtful big thank you for Tracy and Catherine that has get us until this point.
Thank you. It has been nice to see the work that has gone over the last few years and the plans for the future. It's now a good time for us to be hearing from the Treasurer. Karen Kelly is going to give the next report. So welcome, Karen.
Thanks, Catherine. Right. After that, this might seem like the dull but worthy session, so I'll try and keep your interest as strongly as I can. Good evening, everyone. And this evening, I would say that I stand before you as a very contented treasurer, as happy as a treasurer can ever be, really, because I think we have a very, hopefully what I hope you will agree is a very strong financial position. So I will cover in the next 10 minutes our financial results over the last year, our financial projections for the current year, and I'd also like to tell you a little bit about what has been identified as one of our strategic risks, which is financial sustainability and how we are addressing that. So this is a table that, for those of you who were at the AGM last year, may remember something like this. And this very quickly summarises our financial performance for 2022. The first column shows that we had income of £8.9 million and expenditure of 7.9. So we actually made a surplus last year of £1 million. And a couple of things to note from this slide. First of all, if you look at the next column, it shows the actual for the previous year, and you'll see that there's been a very positive swing in our income, and that there's also been a reduction in expenditure. The main reasons for that, the income is very much down to the Cochrane Library income, which has had a really good year last year, and the expenditure reduction. There was a structural reorganisation towards the end of 2021, and we are now bearing the fruits of that in our financial performance in 2022. So it's really good to see that. And you can also see those swings when you compare it with our budget, where income was much higher than budget, but our expenditure was largely in line. I'd just like to focus here on income in particular, because this is relevant for our risks. This is a breakdown of the income to the charity of Cochrane. And you can see from this that 77% of our income last year came from the Cochrane Library. So we are very, very reliant on that income. But I'd also like to give a little shout out for Cochrane Response this evening, because it was a fantastic financial return last year, £1 million. So if any of you out there are involved in Cochrane Response, you can give yourselves a really nice pat on the back, because that was terrific. Now I'd like to focus on our reserves. We do have a reserves policy which we introduced on the board a couple of years ago, and we've been following that policy since. We have total reserves of £9.6 million. Now, you may be asking yourself, that seems a lot of money for an organisation which has annual operating expenditure of around 10 million. So I'd like to explain to you this evening why I think that is the right level of reserves for the charity to be holding. And to do that, I've broken this down on this slide. So first of all, we have a free reserves floor. The Charities Commission give guidance to advisors on how much free reserves we should carry, which is roughly equivalent to 3 months of our operation. So that first line of 2.6 million says that we are compliant with that guidance. Over and above that, we also have £1 million of free reserves. Now, that can go up and down over the course of the year. For example, if we hadn't achieved the level of Cochrane Library income that we did last year, then that figure would have been a lot lower. So I'm comfortable with that. The next item is the Open Access Continuity Fund, which we set up a couple of years ago. And that is in recognition of the uncertainty which lies ahead with our move to open access and how that will impact on our income. So we have specifically set funds aside to support us to do that. The next two lines relate to our Strategic Investment Fund, and that was also something that we set up a couple of years ago. And the Strategic Investment Fund recognises that the organisation is going through a period of transformational change over the next 3 to 5 years, and that requires investment. So we have set up this fund. We have already allocated 700,000 of it. 800,000 is under consideration, and that will be drawn from the amount of 2.3 million, which is unallocated. What I would like to say to you is that money from the Strategic Investment Fund will only be released when detailed business cases are presented to, considered by, and approved by the board. Turning now to our current year 2023, and this shows you what our current forecast is for 2023 compared to our budget, the first two columns there. And the only point I would make there is that we are broadly on target with what we budgeted for this year. There are small offsetting balances between income and expenditure, but overall we're on target for the current year. Now, I just want to finish off this presentation and tell you a little bit about financial sustainability, which we have recognised as one of our key strategic risks. And the question here is really, are we managing the finances to ensure we continue to make an impact in the medium to long term? And in order to consider this risk, I think there are a few elements to it. So I've highlighted in this slide those elements and how we intend to address those risks. The first one is about income dependency. For example, the point that we are very reliant on our income from the Cochrane Library. And our response to that is to have a good reserves buffer, which we have, and to diversify our income, which is underway. The second element of the risk is the loss of external funding. And our new fundraising team has been working on a fundraising strategy which will be addressing that risk. As I mentioned, our move into open access brings with it uncertainty in relation to income, but we now have a financial model which is currently being tested and validated, and so far it looks very good, and we'll be able to keep a close eye on that, and it will be used whenever we are making key decisions. And finally, all this change does cost money. It does require investment, and hence that's the reason we have set up the Strategic Investment Fund. As Treasurer, I chair the Finance, Audit and Risk Committee of the charity, and it's our job to maintain a close oversight of our management accounts, and particularly to scrutinise business models and business cases before they are then considered by the board. So in conclusion, I trust that the accounts demonstrate solid performance for 2022. I believe the charity is in a good position financially to support the transformational changes which are set out in the new strategy. And I would like to give an assurance that we will be vigilant in managing our financial risks. Thank you. I'll now turn to the resolutions that we have in relation to the Trustees' report and financial statements for the year end. And I would like to propose that they are approved by the AGM. Catherine, you're seconding this?
I'm seconding that.
Okay, we'll move to the vote.
Oh, I'd like to propose that everyone vote now. Is that right?
I'm trusting you, Catherine, on this.
Okay. All right, shall we move to the next vote
Okay.
now that people have had a chance to press the button?
And our next resolution is to reappoint Price Bailey as auditor until the conclusion of the annual general meeting next year, also proposed by myself.
And I'd like to second that. Could people please vote now? Thank you very much, Karen, and thank you very much for voting. I think it's great to have your insight and oversight of our finances, and we'll be happy to take any questions later. So thank you, Karen. It's now time for us to move to the council report, and Stefano Negrini is going to be presenting that on behalf of himself and Bob Della Valle.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, I give this report in the name also of Bob Della Valle, who is the co-chairs. And I would like to invite all these people to stand up and show yourself at the assembly. These are the we have had meeting every month lasting on the agenda 1 hour and a half, but we usually had half and a half more just because we were so passionate in discussing what was going on into Cochrane. And we also thank the 2 outgoing members. One unfortunately left Cochrane due to all the turnaround that is going on, and the other one is a very well-known guy on this community. So the purpose of the council that was set in 2017 was to ensure that Cochrane groups have an effective voice in Cochrane's leadership and strategic decision-making. And the council provides a mechanism for Cochrane groups to give advice to the governing board. And what we have done this year is increase the communication between the board and the council, so the co-chairs participated to the work of the board, and the co-chair of the board participated to the work of the council, and that increased a lot the understanding of the two group. We gave 2.5-hour sessions discussing the new Cochrane strategy, and we proposed to add a new goal, and this will arrive to the board, to the free goal that has already been presented. We participated to the governance review very passionately because we were also discussing the future of the council, and we gave some ideas about the future of evidence synthesis project, and we are working also to collaborate to enhance our diversity and equity and increase the usefulness and impact of our reviews. These are the different committees in which people of the council engage to work with the board and the central executive team. But Cochrane is changing, and the decision is that also the council is going to change because there are many expectations, many more than we were able to fulfill, and also the impact of the COVID and the impossibility to meet each other in person had a huge impact, and we have seen that yesterday when we have seen again for the first time, and we were able to contribute much more. With our broad and diverse community, we need a multi-stranded approach to ensure everyone to be represented, and we are looking forward to work in the next 3 months to move forward with what will be the model that will be chosen, is not yet chosen, could be an engagement advisory panel, working with the governing board and the central executive team for a new way to representing the whole community that is different from the single executives that represent themselves, but we need also the voice of the community represented by different people. So this is it, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Stefano and Bob, and thanks to the council. We have greatly appreciated the closer working relationship over the last few months and look forward to new ideas. It's now my pleasure to invite Catherine Spencer to speak to us. It is now just over a year since Catherine joined us as our new CEO, and it's her first colloquium. So, Catherine, you've got a fun 2 days ahead. You've already had a buzz today, I know. So I look forward to hearing the things that you'd like to talk about.
Thank you very much indeed, Catherine. Yes, it is indeed my first colloquium. It's fantastic to be here. I'm in charge of the slides. I missed the technical rehearsal, so this might be interesting. So I am here on behalf of the Central Executive Team, whom I thank for their amazing dedication and commitment for their work for Cochrane over the last year. As the name suggests, the current strategy, so I'll talk first about the current strategy, has enabled enormous change. We've responded to the need to produce trustworthy evidence more quickly. Under the Future of Evidence Synthesis programme, the Central Editorial Service is now operating well, and this, along with the new review format, will dramatically improve the speed at which we can produce reviews and improve the author experience. Cochrane Crowd continues to deliver, and it's enabled an astonishing 8.3 million classifications of primary research, helping to identify and describe hundreds of thousands of studies. RevMan Web has been adopted as a rapidly evolving tool for collaborative review production, enabling study-centric data for streamlined and robust meta-analyses that are more easily explored by users of evidence. And on goal 2, among our advocacy activities, as you heard earlier, we attended the World Health Assembly. Stefano Negrini, who you've just heard from the Council, from Cochrane Rehabilitation, spoke at a side event that raised the evidence in relation to the groundbreaking resolution, Strengthening Rehabilitation in Health Systems. It was adopted by 194 member states, addressing the urgent need for rehabilitation services. So really big well done on that. In 2022, 77% of new WHO guidelines were informed by evidence from Cochrane reviews. And World Evidence-Based Healthcare in 2022 was a success, and the theme for this year is equity, which we're really proud to be involved in. Cochrane groups continue to advocate for Cochrane, and I wish I had time to say far more, and they are involved in our work on research and transparency. And we continue to engage with people like the United Nations, the Pan-American Health Organization, the World Health Organization, the Wellcome Trust, and the World Bank, to name just a few of the people that we're engaging with, which is, of course, so important as we move forward. So goal 3, 81% of all Cochrane reviews were and still are cost-free to access globally. My colleague Carla will be saying more about this in her report, but I personally saw a great example of working in partnership earlier this year when I met with Miloslav Kluge and the Cochrane Czech Republic, and saw their work with the Czech Ministry of Health. And Miloslav is here, and I'm sure he'd love to be able to tell you more about that. These relationships between our Cochrane groups and national decision makers are vital in our need to improve global health. And finally, teams in different countries continue to translate and disseminate Cochrane evidence into 15 languages. So now moving on to our organisational strategy. So as well as delivering on the transformation, and we are already, as you know, working on that, we've been working on the Cochrane collaboration strategy moving forward. So during this process, we've listened to a wide range of interested parties and considered, among many other things, our strengths, our weaknesses, our threats, and our opportunities. And some of this is underway through the Future of Evidence Synthesis programme, but there is more to come, as you will hear. I'm just going to flip over these, because otherwise I'm going to be in trouble with Catherine for taking too long. So moving on to goal 1 of our proposed new strategy, and it very much is a proposal at the moment, and we really want to hear from you. We want to get it right. We'd rather know now than when we've published it. We've been following a process to create our new strategy. We spoke to the community, including executive groups, geographic groups, and fields, and we've spoken to critical friends to understand opportunities and also learn about how we can do better. As well as collecting qualitative data, we provided a very quick online survey, which I doubt would get into a Cochrane review, but has given us an indication of preferred wording on our goals. This is very much part of an ongoing process, including consultation at the colloquium. The first theme of our strategy focuses on impact and relevance. And we aim to do this by making it easier, quicker, and cheaper to produce, update, and access excellent, trusted evidence in the most important areas. This means we will simplify, improve, and harmonise our processes and deliver an excellent author experience. This is, of course, already underway, and we'll be developing and embedding this work. And we want to identify where evidence is needed most and prioritise and align our work and resources to stakeholders' need and funding. And to develop the strategy, we'll work really closely, or continue to work closely, with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, so we can contribute towards those. And we want to encourage and nurture innovation and, of course, collaboration to maintain our reputation as the leading provider of trusted evidence and leadership in methodologies. Goal 2, the most popular wording is listed there below, but the theme of this is diversity and equity. And we want to achieve that by enabling more people to access evidence, by making it more available and easier to find. And you heard about our work towards open access, and this is part of our phased approach to open science. We want to inspire more non-native English speakers and younger people to engage with Cochrane, ensuring fair and equitable processes which stimulate a welcoming and productive environment for all. And we want to build our global reach and representation and strengthen our relationships and enhance our support to geographically diverse areas and with a focus on low and middle income countries. And we look forward to working with you all and our geographic groups who can really help us achieve this. And finally, goal 3, theme of advocacy and collaboration. And again, the wording at the moment is included there, but you can go along if you're at the colloquium. You can go along to our stand to tell us what you think about that. But to do advocacy and collaboration or deliver it, we will turn the page. We will use our network to educate and improve understanding of evidence and to support local capability and capacity building, which is, of course, again, where our geographic groups can be really helpful. We want to grow, strengthen, and leverage our relationships with global, regional, and national partners. And we want to advocate and offer leadership for consumer involvement and engagement in evidence-informed healthcare. And of course, this colloquium is another great example of involving consumers as a patient-included event. And we're really delighted to have our consumers here. And finally, we want to use convening power to bring people together, to connect, to build relationships and collaborate to develop the best evidence. But of course, to do all this, we've got to be sustainable. And you heard from Karen that we've got a great financial position at the moment, and it's our responsibility to ensure that that continues to be the case. So to ensure that we remain sustainable, we are developing an economically viable open access model with phased implementation, which we are testing at the moment to ensure that we know it will work. We'll also develop new income generating activities, and we'll build on opportunities offered by artificial intelligence and machine learning, and reduce dependency on income from the Cochrane Library, which will of course continue to be important, but we know we need to build new income streams. And we also want to provide agile and excellent core services to support the delivery of our strategic goals and indeed to support our community and the vital work that you do. So we really look forward to hearing your input as we develop the strategy and the implementation plan. Thank you very much to those of you who have already fed in information. Please use the opportunities over the next few days to come along to our stand, the Cochrane stand, and tell us more. And we also have a special session where we really want to work with you. We've had some great conversations with geographic groups and also with the council, but we really want to take on board your views. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine. I think that session is on Wednesday, is that right?
That's right, yes.
Excellent. Please come along. I am now delighted to introduce the Editor-in-Chief, Dr. Carla Suarez-Weiser. Carla, welcome, and please tell us about the work of you and of your team.
Thank you very much. If you had troubles with accent so far, watch out. Now it's Brazilian. Thank you all, to all my Cochrane colleagues for joining us today. Today we gather not only to reflect upon our journey of the last 3 decades, but also to celebrate Cochrane's 30th anniversary. And to do that, let's pause and go back on time. This image captures the pioneers who kindled the Cochrane collaboration flame in 1993. From those humble beginnings, our family has grown to include over 100,000 members and supporters, and our contributions to the Cochrane Library span over 9,000 reviews published. A heartfelt appreciation to our funders and to each of those who have helped to make Cochrane what it is, but are no longer funded in working with us. Your unwavering dedication played an integral role in shaping Cochrane's trajectory. Our commitment to excellence is grounded in understanding our users, The 2023 Voice of the Customers, run by Wiley, offers insights on the kind of perceptions that our users have about us. When asked to rate the Cochrane Library attributes, the responses were unequivocal. Over 90% of respondents rate support for healthcare and trustworthiness very high. This resounding affirmation echoes the trust placed in us, and we must keep it. Users' insight guide our journey. They illuminate their aspirations and expectations for Cochrane. Accessibility and timely publication are pivotal expectations. Our resolve to meet these demands underpins our ongoing transformation. And allow me to share a personal journey. Earlier this year, I embarked on the Camino de Santiago pilgrimage in Spain, along with some close friends. This was a transformative experience for me that resonates with Cochrane's own evolution. Just as the Camino de Santiago demands resilience, adaptability, and a clear goal, so does Cochrane's path. Together, we confront challenges with the same vigor, constantly advancing the science of evidence synthesis. And this is even more important now than before. The global landscape has evolved significantly over the past years and presents us with global challenges in delivering health and care. And to name only a few of them, there are limited resources and there are complex healthcare needs arising from disparities in health and societal changes. We have issues with climate change, and these all demand a responsive and relevant approach. In this era of uncertainty, Cochrane's role became even more critical. We serve as a beacon of trust, offering evidence to navigate this complex experience. Cochrane's landscape change was embraced with purpose. Our compass breathes through to generate timely, accessible, and impactful evidence that empowers decision-making and improves healthcare. This transformation is an embodiment of our collective resolve to uphold our core values of collaboration, independence, and scientific rigor, while adapting to fulfill the evolving needs of our users. And the Future of Evidence Synthesis is a multi-project initiative that aims to drive the transformation that Cochrane's needed. To ensure effective implementation, the Governing Board has established an oversight committee that is entrusted with monitoring the key metrics that, and make sure that we are progressing according to them. Some of these metrics: over 305 new proposals were reported on the past 6 months. 27 of them have been submitted as protocol. 411 reviews were submitted to our Central Editorial Service with a final decision on 175 of them. And recognizing the importance of a timely publication, the Oversight Committee has set clear timelines. A acceptance decision needs to be made within 9 months, and rejection decisions needs to be made within 4 months, and the target for copy editing is 2 months. While work remains, we are making some steady progress towards our goals. Last year, we published 343 reviews and 250 protocols. This year so far, we have published 222 reviews and 70 protocols. And while we anticipated a reduction on impact factor following the COVID surge, our steady impact reflects the intrinsic value our users set on our reviews. Remarkably, the library reached 181 countries, aided by over 44,000 translated plain language summaries and abstracts across 15 different languages. And since its launch in November 22 of our new open access journal, we have received 26 submissions and published 14 articles. But we also thinking of diversify the types of questions and respond to the types of questions that are embracing different methods in our reviews. So here you have examples of co-production with consumers of health, complex methodologies, and globally relevant questions. And when you focus on relevant questions, this is also something that raise attention to people. And these are only two small examples of reviews published within the past 2 weeks. At the heart of Cochrane's reputation for academic rigor is our dedicated and diverse methods community. This year highlights includes a new version of the Cochrane Handbook of Interventions and a new handbook for reviews of diagnostic test accuracy. There are forthcoming handbooks on qualitative symptoms and prognosis studies. We recognize the importance of developing guidance that underpins methodological excellence and the importance these review questions have in health today and in the future. So kudos also to the Cochrane's Methods Executive, Method Support Unit, and the remarkable success of our Method Symposium. Our commitment to integrity and transparency in health research is unwavering. We are proactively developing and refining policies and amplifying our mission through research and advocacy, ensuring that the impact of our work resonates. Cochrane Collaboration was born through passion of people who believed that science could impact lives. During the past years, our community navigated numerous changes with unwavering resilience. Similar to the Camino journey, challenge demands support and encouragement. Just as I could not walk the Camino alone, Cochrane thrives on your engagement and support. From review groups to thematic groups to evidence synthesis units, from the Consumers Network to Cochrane Crowd, fields, geographic groups, there are many ways for people to be involved in Cochrane. We encourage each one of you to contribute and take part in our collective journey. And as we refine our process and systems, our commitment to global significance remains steadfast. In a world striving to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, Cochrane faces both opportunities and challenges. Amidst this dynamic landscape, our reviews have often targeted high-income countries, emphasizing the need to enhance global health, equity, and inclusivity. A pivotal moment awaits. The Governing Board endorsed a dedicated scientific strategy centered on generating evidence to support the Sustainable Development Goals. And as we embark on our journey of collaboration, we want to hear from you, from our internal, but also from our external stakeholders. We want your unique perspective to be able to support Cochrane to fulfill its mission. And throughout our journey, Cochrane's essence endures, empowering decision through evidence. As I walked the Camino de Santiago, I realized the transformative power of a journey. And as I completed mine, my gaze fell on these 3 young women completing theirs. We need to hold close to the values of those who founded Cochrane, as we inspire the next generation to carry the baton from us. And in closing, my profound gratitude extends to each of you and to those who are not here. Your dedication fuels our journey's momentum, propelling us towards an impactful future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carla. We now have time for questions, and what we would like to do to make sure that we have an opportunity to hear from the people who are online as well is to invite people to tell us what their questions are. We're going to take 3 people from inside the room. Tell us what your questions are, and we're going to cluster them together so that we can give you answers to those questions. And at the same time, Jordia's online, and he will be searching through the questions to come up with some clusters as well. So I'd like to move first to invite the first 3 people who would like to tell us their questions. This is going to be a record AGM.
Oh, you've got Joe. You've got Joe Morris.
Can you just put up your hands over here? Thank you.
I seem to have missed it, but I would just like to acknowledge and thank all of the people who are not here. We have lost an enormous amount of Cochrane experience and enthusiasm over the past year, and I would just like to say I miss you all very much.
We wholeheartedly agree, and I think Carla just mentioned in her last slides how much we are only here because of the hard work of others, and the dedication and support has been greatly appreciated. It is what makes this place, or this organisation, really special. So thank you everyone, and thank you everyone online as well. I think it's been an amazing 30 years, and we appreciate it. Thank you for raising it, Joe.
Hello. Upsala. My name is Regina Kunz from Switzerland, and my question to you is this morning we learned that Cochrane is now a Cochrane collaboration again. So I would like to learn, which I'm very, very pleased to hear, and I would like to hear from the board, what are the implications of this returning to the old name?
Thanks, Regina. Is there any other couple of questions?
Well, thanks a lot. I'd like to also thank the board. I'm impressed, to note that there's a move towards encouraging the young ones to take over. But I can't see clearly in our strategy a specific, move to this. Will the board make some kind of commissioning or some strategy to involve the young task they want to? Thank you.
Yeah, great, we can do that. And another question? Well, while you're thinking up something, Catherine, I'd like you to explain how we're going to be using the Cochrane collaboration name.
Yeah, of course, thank you. So thanks, that's a really good question, and we do, of course, need to provide some clarity on that. So I think we recognise that collaboration is such an incredibly important part of this organisation. And we've had feedback, I think, over some years and recently when we've spoken to people about this current strategy, just how important that word collaboration is. So I think we wanted to recognise that. The 30th anniversary is a fantastic opportunity to add that back in. So how we're doing that is we will keep the Cochrane logo as it is, as though anyone that's gone through a rebranding or changed the logo before will recognise that's quite an expensive process. So we'll continue to refer to ourselves as Cochrane. But we'll also, I think in the previous brand guidelines, when we had that change to just Cochrane, we actually said that we weren't going to refer to ourselves as the Cochrane Collaboration, and I think that's been quite challenging for some people. So we'll keep the name, we'll continue to call ourselves Cochrane, but also use the Cochrane Collaboration when we speak about what we do. So I guess it's open to you. If you just want to refer to Cochrane, you can, but we also really invite you to talk about the Cochrane Collaboration as well, and it's indicative of our move to embrace the collaboration and recognise it's been a challenging time over the last couple of years, and bring that back into how we work and collaborate together.
Thanks, Catherine. So essentially we're trying to be quite flexible about it. And one of the things that I think has impressed me is that our Articles of Association have always been the Cochrane Collaboration. It's been our formal name forever. So I'd like to just pick up on the point about encouraging young people to be involved. And Vanessa, I'm wondering whether you, as one of our most recent board members, would like to make some comments on that.
Yeah, is it working? Yes, of course. Thanks, Catherine. Thank you all for voting for us. So now, I don't know whether you remember, but our last elections, we were aiming to include one member under 30 on the board. Now we are 3 of them. So thanks a lot for your trust, and this is mainly what we also want to do. We want to encourage that everyone who is in our age, who is just starting their career, to also integrate your own voices, your own views, and work with us together. And we are here, we're open, we're hearing you, and anytime if there's anything, just come to us. So also, of course, every other member of the board is always open to hear you, and we will support your ideas and we'll bring it forward.
Thanks, Vanessa. Catherine, you had something to add?
Yeah, just to say, I think it was about how we're going to do that in the strategy, and we will be working across the collaboration with our geographic groups to work out how we do that in our implementation plans. So as well as what Vanessa spoke about, is something that we're going to be developing further, and we'd really look forward to hearing from everybody as to how we can do that.
Geordie, we have a question here from the online people.
Yeah, it was getting quite quiet, and suddenly it's getting too lively, and I cannot catch up. Okay, so there is one question. If we are getting back collaboration, we'll be getting rid of directorates. They are not very collaborative.
Is that a question?
I don't know. It looks like a question.
Catherine.
Yeah, apologies. I think I'm struggling to understand what it means, that question, actually. But I think we're not getting rid of directorates. So, yeah, I think I probably need to know a little bit more about what...
Is any plans of changing the name of the directorates?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm a bit confused by that one.
Okay, thank you. So can we go to some more questions from the real people? Sorry. The people in the room. We love you online. I just need to say that.
I'm only partially real. And I have lots of people who back me up on that. But I was interested to hear your reflections on a point. My own perception, and speaking to colleagues, there seem to be others who share that, is that with the challenges of meeting over the last few years, the changes in the structure of Cochrane, and also changes in staffing in various parts of the organization, I feel a certain distance has grown between those of us who are working in thematic groups, fields, geographic centers, and staff connected to the central team. And I wondered if that's something that's come up in your discussions, and what your thoughts on how that might be addressed, if you think there is a need to address it. One of the thoughts that occurred to me is, is there a possibility of people who newly joined the central team spending time in other parts of Cochrane to sort of see and understand what we do and understand that we're all part of the same organization, working towards those goals that you outlined earlier. Thanks.
Thanks very much for your comments there. It's certainly something that we've been talking about on the board, and we want to make sure that we are finding ways that we can connect, listen, talk with the community, and that was the project that both Stefano talked about and Catherine talked about. So we want to find ways to do better. I think the other point that you've made is that we have a very new group of people who've joined the executive leadership team. And Catherine, would you like to comment on the ways that you have started to connect with the community and the way your team is doing that?
Yeah, of course. So I think in terms of, you asked whether people have commented on the community whilst we've been speaking to people. I think, I'd be honest and say, yes, they have, because like all organisations, we've dealt with the challenge of COVID, of remote working, and we're also an organisation undergoing change. So I think that experience is not uncommon for an organisation or a collaboration that we are, and we recognise the importance to rebuild that. So we've reintroduced the name collaboration to make it really clear that's our intention. We also recognise that we need to include our communications, and we need to ensure that there's a wide variety of ways in which we communicate with the community and encourage people to be involved with Cochrane. So the work on how we engage with the community is really important, and please do come and speak to our colleagues and tell us how you think that we can do that. But we're undergoing a project in the next 3 months to focus on that and really understand how we can do that better. I'm also involved with I attend geographic group meetings, and I've been attending the council as well. So as we move forward, I think you could expect to see me and my colleagues from the central executive team ensuring that there is presence and understanding of the community. And I think you're probably all aware as well that we have a brilliant support desk as well who connect with the community. So we're getting a lot of feedback as to what people want to see. I hope that answers.
Thanks, Catherine. We are not getting so many questions online, but there is a special comment here. Wonderful news on the restoration of the word collaboration. Thanks a lot, Ian Chalmers.
Oh.
So, Ian, everyone here is pleased too. Geordie, anything else that's coming through online? Feels like a telethon when I say that. Okay, any other comments or questions from the floor? I think we've got time for one more. Okay, well, in the absence of that, we can get on with some really fun awards. I would like to introduce the Anne Anderson Award, and Tiffany Duquet is going to be presenting that. Tiffany.
Hi everyone, I have an American accent, so I hope you can all understand. It is an honor as the 2022 Anne Anderson Award recipient to present to the 2023 winner. If you are not familiar with Anne Anderson, you'll see on the app that there's an Anne Anderson walk, and this award is to honor her memory as one of the founders of Cochrane, especially in pregnancy and childbirth, and her huge commitment to helping women in science. And I was thinking, do you think she was in that 1993 colloquium picture? I bet she was. Anyway, no one knows, but. So the award is presented to a woman in Cochrane who has shown initiative and motivation to help other women in Cochrane become leaders and be more visible, and then also pass on some funding to someone of their choice who needs some extra resources to finish any work in Cochrane. So it is my huge pleasure to call on Madeline Van Welly. Did I butcher that? So come on up, Madeline. So I will let Madison say a few words. And I think there's a slide on her, or maybe it was cut out. Anyway, okay. So you can tell us about yourself.
Well, just a few words then. Well, this is wonderful, of course.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
Press the green button. Yeah. Oh, sorry, sorry. Yeah.
Oh,
Like magic.
right. Well, that's me then. So, years ago, I got inspired really by Cindy Farquhar. To get into work with Cochrane, and I started with my first reviews, and since then I have been trying to inspire others, particularly young women, to also get into Cochrane work and everything around that. And I really hope that, or I wish that I can inspire many others. And this award will certainly help me with that. Thank you.
Okay, we can now, congratulations. We'd like to now move on to the Kenneth Warren Prize. And that's going to be presented by Naiming Lai.
Thank you. Good evening. Malaysian accent. It's my honor to represent the judging panel to announce the 2023 Kenneth Warren Prize. The prize, given annually, is given to a principal author living in a developing country whose published Cochrane review is considered to be of high methodological quality and of relevance to the health problems in developing countries. This year, we received several high-quality reviews, and after a difficult round of judging, we have the great pleasure of announcing the winner. The winner of the 2023 Kenneth Warren Prize is Dr. Rashmi Ranjan, whose review title is Vitamin D as an adjunct to antibiotic for the treatment of acute childhood pneumonia. And now we invite Dr. Rashmi to come on stage. Stage is yours.
So very good evening. So this is Indian accent. I was following the previous speakers. Okay. So it's really a moment of great pride and joy for me. Thank you so much, Cochrane Collaboration, for this honor. My special thanks to Liz Dooley and her team at Cochrane ARI Group, who has provided all the support for making this review a methodologically sound one. Special thanks to Professor Minu Singh, my mentor, my co-author. Please, ma'am. So she has done all the hand-holding, and she, in fact, introduced me to this Cochrane Library more than a decade ago. Thank you so much, ma'am. And my special thanks to the Cochrane Kenneth Warren Prize Committee, Dr. Lai, and his team for selecting me as the winner. So this is really a great moment for me, and winning this prize has made me more committed towards improving health of children in low and middle income countries. And it has increased my bonding with Cochrane Collaboration. So thank you very much. Long live Cochrane. Thank you.
It is now my pleasure to invite one of our board members, Vanessa Paochetta, to talk about the Emeritus and Lifetime Awards that have just been started this year. Vanessa.
Thanks, Catherine. Yeah, I just let you guess where I'm from, but maybe also some of you know. But yes, it's my pleasure. So it's our 30th anniversary, and I'm very happy to announce this last round of awards, our new memberships, Emeritus and Lifetime memberships. As I said, 2 new forms. I hope you all have heard about it, because we already had a first round of announcements in the first part of this year. And we want to acknowledge people who just made a significant contribution while they provided all their passion towards Cochrane over many years, and now, sadly, are stepping down from their roles. But we still want to keep them in our family, in our collaboration. So I quickly want to introduce you to our first round awardees. So they have already been awarded in the first part of the year. If you want to know more about their stories, just scan the QR code, go to our membership website and read how significant their contribution was and how amazing we are, how glad we are to have these amazing people with us. So Emeritus members, the first round of nominees were Gerd Antes, Sally Belsaria, Xavier Bonfil, Ian Chalmers, Kai Dickerson, Maria Gray, Ginny Hetherington, Sophie Hill, Anne Lydiat, Nandy Siegfried, and Pratap Tayang. I'm so sorry, I'm bad with names, but you will hear it going on. Our lifetime members are Peter Herbison and Anne Leatherby. A big round of applause, please, for all of them. So going on to our new nominees, our awardees, who have just been informed this weekend that they are now our new lifetime and emeritus members. So new lifetime members, if you're here in the room, please stand up and show yourself to our amazing community. Linda Clare, Leon Flicker, Patricia Graves, Fiona Rowe, Karen Steingart, and Maoling Wei. If you're here, please stand up and wave. Otherwise, we will hear soon more about you on our membership website, so it's worthwhile to follow up on that. Also, I want to welcome our new Emeritus membership members, Hilda Bastian, Martin Burden, Nikki Cullum, Gladys Faber, Paul Garner, Robin Grant, Malini Laupaibun, Petra McCaskill, Fergus Macbeth, Mario Tristan, and Christopher Williams. Congratulations. Thanks so much. I hope many of you are here online and also watching, and this applause is, of course, also for you. So again, congratulations. We wouldn't be here without you, and we really, really acknowledge your contributions. Thanks again. Congratulations.
So there'll be a little something in the mail, Fergus. Just saying, watch your... I can't say. But yeah, it's really a fantastic time, 30 years, to acknowledge the impressive contribution that people have made, and we're all humbled by the things that you've done for Cochrane. I think we are now in the situation where you don't have to vote anymore, and we're closing the votes. So thank you very much for voting. We will get the results quite soon. Something magical will happen, and we will be able to tell you whether those votes have all been approved. But while we're here, I'll just encourage you to think about your plans for next year. We have another AGM you can come to. It's going to be in Prague, so maybe you could also come to the Global Evidence Summit. This will be the second one that we had. We had a fantastic time in Cape Town. I hope you all remember what a good event that was, with the combination of the Guidelines International Network, the Campbell Collaboration, and the Johanna Briggs Institute, combining with Cochrane to really bring people together to talk about how we can look at evidence across the whole spectrum, from generation to delivery and implementation. So please come. Hopefully the AGM will be just as much on time as this one has been. So we look forward to seeing you there. Lucy, oh, here we go. All right. I'm pleased to tell you that the results of the vote to approve the minutes, luckily, we had 189 people approved that. To receive and note the trustees' report, we had 192 people agree, 4 people didn't. And we had 21 abstentions, and we have also had votes to reappoint Price Bailey as the auditor. We've had 187 votes there and 30 abstentions. So I can formally say that all of those items have been approved. Thank you very much for your votes. Okay, what I'd like to do now is to thank you all very much for coming to the AGM. It is really good to see so many people in the room, and we hope you have a lovely evening, and we look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. Thanks to all the people online. We really appreciate you contributing, and thanks for your comments, and we hope you can come to Prague. Bye, everyone.